How should you prep to buy your first home? Watch this video to learn more. Hi, I'm Gaelan Trombley with Kavanaugh Realty, and the video I'm doing today might be one of my favorites that I've ever done. And it's how to prep to buy your first home. Now, this is really going, and this can go out to anybody that's never bought a home, but I think this is really geared towards, the younger demographic. If you're like, say 18 years old to maybe 25 years old, and you're wondering, how am I going to get in my first home? How do I go about purchasing my first home and getting out of renting? So we're going to start with some easy things. Hopefully these are very practical things that you can do to possibly buy a home maybe in a year, 2 years to 3 years, or whatever, 5 years from now. Save money. So I know this sounds very simple, but if you can, get in the habit of taking money out of every paycheck and putting it down or putting it away to save up, to have money to put down and to cover closing costs when you purchase on a property. Now, down payment and closing costs, there are a lot of percentages based on the price that you're going to purchase. But I would say a good rule of thumb is maybe to save, $8,000 to $10,000. Now, would you need all that? No, you can get some concessions on closing costs that might be able to get that number down. But I would say you would really want to save. A good number to look for is probably that $8,000 to $10,000 mark. And again, if you start when you're 16, 17, 18, put away 10% of your paycheck towards that. If you get $500 a week, $400 a week, 40, 50 bucks, that adds up a lot over time. So step number one is to do that. Step number two, establish credit. If you have not established credit, bad credit is obviously bad, but no credit is just as bad. So if you really want to have credit, open up a credit card. Most banks require 2 lines of credit, meaning, have a credit card. If you have car payments or you have student loans, make sure you're paying those off every month. Don't be late on the payments. Being late on the payments is one of the worst things you can do. So make sure that whatever you're spending each month, you can also pay each month and pay that card or pay that bill down each month. So establish credit. Make sure you have that. Again, most banks are going to require about a 640 or higher credit score. Ideally, shoot for 7 or above. Next thing down, debt to income ratio. What's this mean is how much debt do you have compared to the amount of money you are bringing in? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to piggyback off of what we just talked about with establishing credit. Make sure when you have a credit card, you are not running your credit card super high. Live within your means. So, don't put on $2,000 on your credit card in a month if all you have is enough to pay maybe $800 to $1,000. Really stay within your budget to make sure you're paying that down. The other thing too is if you have a credit card that maybe has a $7,000 max on your card and you're maxing out at $5,000, $6,000, that's going to weigh a little bit more, it's going to weigh on your credit score versus if you only put on $1,000 and pay it off each month to show that you're not taking out a huge chunk of debt. Now the car loan. This is another thing to look at. Do you really need the new fancy sports car? I mean, yes, could you afford the payments of, say, $600-700 a month on a new truck or a new car? You probably can, but at the end of the day, why don't you get the smaller car, spend $100 to $200 a month, and put the rest of that money away into savings? You have plenty of time to get that sweet sports car or the big truck. But if you're trying to find or have a better investment of buying a home, I would kind of live within your means again. Get a smaller car, lesser payment, save the money. Same thing with student loans. The student loans right now are crazy. And if you're looking to go into college to get like a liberal arts degree or a business degree or something like that, you probably don't need to go to college. To be honest, save that money, save all that money in debt that you could be going into, and save it to buy a home, save it to get a head start on life. Trust me, it's really sweet when you're 25 and have no student debt compared to the people that are 35 and 40 and are just paying off that college loan. So these are some things to think about too, about not getting too high in debt. Now, the other thing I wanted to touch on, if you're a young kid, 18 to 25 or even 18 to 30, and you're single, you don't have a spouse, you don't have kids, look at getting some kind of multifamily unit, meaning a duplex, triplex. You live in one unit, you rent out the other. Let that money come in each month to pay down some of your mortgage, or if you're lucky, pay for your entire mortgage. And then eventually when it comes time to actually purchase that second home, maybe you're married and have a kid and want to get into the bigger house at that point, use the money that you were getting there. You now have already paid down some of the equity on that property, buy the new home, and then save that original duplex or triplex and now rent out all the units and get a nice cash flow each month. So I think these are very good steps if you're younger or have not bought a home yet or wondering how the heck am I ever going to get in a home. This is what you have to do. If you have any specific questions, give me a call. Again, my name is Gaelan Trombley with Kavanaugh Realty. My number is 518-572-0088.